Hey everyone, today we'll discuss the Unfair Contract Terms Act of Singapore. This law plays a crucial role in protecting parties from unfair terms in contracts and is particularly relevant for both consumers and businesses in various transactions. I'll be breaking down the main sections of the Act, offering insights from third-party sources, and sharing some examples to see how the Unfair Contracts Act works in practice. The Unfair Contract Terms Act was designed to prevent businesses from imposing unjust terms on others, often consumers, through contracts. While Singapore contract law generally upholds freedom of parties to contract as they wish, the Unfair Contract Terms Act steps in to limit this freedom when it could lead to an unfair or unjust outcome. The first section I want to talk about is Section 2 of the Act, which deals with negligence liability. This section states that any contract term that excludes or restricts liability for death or personal injury resulting from negligence is void. Essentially, if a business tries to avoid responsibility for causing death or injury through a contract clause, it will not hold up under this law. Section 3 of the Act deals with liability arising in contract. Under Section 3, if a party contracts with a consumer or if there's a standard form contract, the law imposes a stricter control on terms that seek to limit liability when the business owner is in breach of contract. The term will be enforceable only if it's deemed fair and reasonable, considering the circumstances known at the time the contract was made. Section 6 of the Act addresses terms implied by law, especially those related to the sale and supply of goods. For example, a seller cannot exclude terms implying that the goods are of satisfactory quality or fit for the intended purpose unless it's fair and reasonable to do so. Section 11 then introduces the reasonable test. It essentially checks whether the term was fair and reasonable at the time of contracting. Factors such as the bargaining power of each party and whether the term was readily understandable to the other party come into play here. A report by the Singapore Academy of Law highlights how the Unfair Contracts Act strikes a balance between contract freedom and consumer protection. According to this report, the Act ensures that consumers are not unjustly bound by terms they had little opportunity to negotiate. This commentary underscores the Act's role in leveling the playing field, particularly when one party holds more power than the other. Now let's look at a few examples that illustrate how the Unfair Contract Terms Act functions. Example number 1. A traveler to Singapore once checked into a hotel where the contract contained a clause waiving all liability for personal injury. The traveler later sustained an injury due to poorly maintained facilities due to the negligence of the hotel. When this case went to court, the waiver was struck down under the Unfair Contract Terms Act because it sought to exclude liability for negligence, which is void under Section 2 of the Act. A second example involved a standard form contract for car rental. A customer rented a car and signed a standard form contract with numerous liability exclusions, including damage due to faulty brakes. Now, the brakes failed, causing an accident. The court deemed the exclusion unreasonable, as the customer had no opportunity to negotiate the terms, and it was crucial to hold the company accountable for maintaining vehicle safety. The third example that I'll discuss involved the sale of faulty goods. A customer purchased a laptop that stopped working after a few days. The contract stated that the retailer wouldn't be liable for any defects. Under Section 6 of the Unfair Contract Terms Act, this exclusion was deemed unreasonable, as consumers have a right to expect goods to be of a satisfactory quality. The customer was able to get the replacement under the Act. The Unfair Contract Terms Act is a powerful tool that protects consumers and ensures fair play in contracts. By imposing limits on the extent to which businesses can exclude or restrict liability, the Act helps to create a more balanced marketplace. Whether you're a consumer or a business owner, it's essential to understand the implications of the Unfair Contract Terms Act and how it might apply to your contracts. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into Singapore's legal landscape. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.